Hello, welcome to a special episode of our podcast, which is called About People. And as you can hear, there is a big difference between this episode and other ones. We are speaking English. I'm sorry for my not perfect English, but I hope you'll understand. And the reason why we are speaking English is that we have a special guest who came from Sweden. And it's Mårten Runow, the CEO of Performia International. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
I'm very happy to have you here. I will say something about you, and then we'll dive into the questions.
Absolutely. You're welcome.
Okay. So, Mårten Runow has more than 30 years of experience in the field of HR and is an expert on building productive teams. His vision is to help companies all around the world to make the hiring process more clear and effective, and to have teams full of productive people. In more than 20 countries where Performia operates, people have already filled out about 5 million potential and personality questionnaires. And he personally has evaluated a lot of them and is still improving the exactness of evaluation. So we can say he's a real expert on human potential. What do you think about this description? Would you add something?
No, I mean, it's actually, once you know how to do it, it's not that complicated. Mm-hmm. Sure, we have a lot of experience. We have done it for many years. But what I find very, very interesting is that one can learn most of it in a matter of weeks rather than years. And then you can start to enjoy the benefits of having that information.
Cool. Okay, let's dive into it. I know we can speak about like a lot of different topics from hiring, leadership, people, HR, and so on. But I would love to speak about one important topic in this episode, which is an important concept you have already introduced in the Czech Republic. And it's the role of HR managers in the modern companies. Tell me more about that. What's wrong with the role of HR managers nowadays? Why do we need a new concept of it?
Yeah, it's like there are many HR managers who are very skilled and they understand a lot and they do a lot of good things for the companies. But I would say those people are using what we would call common sense when it comes to people. And I personally like that very much. I mean, it's like, because life is actually, when you do it right, it makes sense. What we try to focus on is one of the most fundamental factors behind people feeling great, companies doing well, and groups forming and becoming strong. And that is actually productivity, which is a subject I think we talk too little about. Because productivity can be connected to absolutely any job within an organization. If I'm a productive receptionist, there are certain things that will happen because I'm productive. If I'm a productive marketing manager, there will be certain effects of that. And the productivity is what basically the company or the group is paying for. So if I'm a marketing manager, I should produce specific results, what we call products. And when I deliver those products, that's when I make the cost of me, which is mainly my salary, because it can be other things as well. But the compensation I get, for that, I'm supposed to deliver this product. Now, if I'm a marketing manager and I'm not 100% sure what is the expected product, what is it that I should really deliver? Because marketing is, it can embrace also sales, but why do we call it marketing? And once that is cleared up, and I know exactly what's the difference between marketing and sales, and I know the exact difference between marketing and PR. If I'm a PR manager, there is a slightly different product. So, and I think we need to be very strong in that area. We need to know exactly what are we waiting from this person, from that person, or these people. And we have been promoting this idea before, and now we are going to strengthen that promotion and include also training and more formalized educational materials, so that anyone who is really interested in improving production, they should have a simple enough way to do it without too much guesswork or hope. But I know, because I have seen that it works. And that's basically the foundation. I would say that any person, whether he's a manager, general director, HR specialist, or whatever, one should have that certainty of what exactly is it that I should deliver, and that should also ideally be measurable. So we should be able to measure how are we doing this year compared to last year, for example. So there's a lot that is included in this idea, but basically it's very simple.
Mm-hmm. You spoke about the role of HR manager that is not HR manager, but something else. Can you tell more about this?
Yeah, I mean, we actually have named it. Mm-hmm. And we call that person a personnel productivity manager. Because if I manage productivity, and if I can help an individual, whether he's new or maybe he's not even recruited yet, I need to get him in, but just because he's in doesn't mean he's productive. So I need to now do certain things to help him become part of the team and then become productive. And that flow of activities is something that I don't think is cleared out enough. Most people don't have a clear enough concept of that, how to do it. And once you know how to do it, like with everything, it's pretty simple. But if you don't know, you can be all over the place. So that's why we call it, personnel productivity managers or personnel productivity management. Yeah, because it's like that. What I see is what every company actually needs, and that is nothing that will ever change. I mean, the day when a company doesn't care about productivity, then I don't really see any reason why we even have companies.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So when we have PPM, we call it PPM, like shortly, personal productivity manager, how concretely can the person make all the people be productive or have results? Because it sounds like something very difficult.
We had a big seminar about this, some time ago. And I think if you ask those people who participated, I think they have a very clear idea today on what it means, because it's like a toolkit. You just don't have, if you're a carpenter and you're going to want to be productive and you want to be good, you cannot have just two tools.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a screwdriver and a hammer,
Yeah.
Maybe you are amazing.
Sometimes, yes.
Exactly. And even if you're amazing with those two tools, but there are sometimes things you need to do where you need a completely different tool. Mm-hmm. And you need to know that that tool exists and how to use it. And this is what we have tried to compile. It's like, it's a toolkit with a bit over 20 tools that, as a productivity manager, you should know them. And even more importantly, you know how to apply them and use them. And when you start to use them, you will find that it's not that difficult. And it's very rewarding, because you will see that things get better. People get more happy or more satisfied. So and this is another thing I love about this whole thing, is that productivity and happiness go together. Yeah. So when you work in a very productive environment with productive people, it's a lot of fun.
Maybe sometimes it's enough to get the people have results.
No, it's, yeah, people inspire each other. I mean, you can look at any football team, you know, who is really, that is really, really good. Because they are so good, they attract other good players who want to play there. Because they want to play in a productive team. And it's not that different in the business world. When a team is really productive, a lot of people want to be there.
A lot of people who are productive.
Absolutely, but and that's puts certain requirements on the hiring section of that operation, because just because a lot of people want to work in this group doesn't mean that all of them should, because some of them are not up to that level of productivity yet, so they should go and maybe play in a smaller team or in a lower league, so to speak, before they are ready to play on the highest level.
To start with that. Yeah. Okay.
But in each division, we have productivity. We are looking for that, because if we are in Division 4, we want to get to Division 3. Good. So let's increase productivity, make more goals, let less goals get in, and we can go to the next league. And then we work that way. And you know, excuse me, because I'm a sports nut. You know, I love sports, but I think sometimes that sports have a lot of things to teach the business community. You know, because things that works in sport normally works also pretty well in business. So I like those analogies.
Because the product is more clear, maybe.
Exactly. The very few people who play soccer don't understand that, you know, one of our products is that we make a goal. Yeah. Yeah. And we put the ball in that net over there, you know, not in our net. But there is also many small products within a football team, you know, like if you're a defender, you know, your product is not necessarily to make a goal, but, you know, to make sure that the other team doesn't make a goal, and that we should deliver the ball in an effective way to other players in our team who can then go on attack. So every group have a number of products that needs to be worked on, and then you can say you have some main products, you know, winning the game. You know, if we win with 4-3, that means we won the game. If we lost with 6-4, okay, we made more goals, but we lost. Still not ideal.
It's not the product.
Exactly, it's not the product
yeah.
of a one game, exactly.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of managers in the Czech Republic, I don't know how is it in other countries, but a lot of managers think that HR department is only for hiring people and doing the administrative tasks connected with employees, like contracts, benefits, salaries, and so on. But we in Performia, we speak a lot about importance of general managers being interested in hiring and in working with people and their self-development and so on. Why do you think is it so important that CEOs or general managers are interested in that, in people, in hiring?
You know, it is hugely important. And just to take an example that may be known by some of your viewers, but which happened to be a fact, and that is that we all know about Steve Jobs and running Apple, and he was heavily involved in their hiring. He personally did over 5,000 job interviews when he was the CEO of Apple. That's how important he thought hiring was. he did not want anyone to get into Apple that he didn't personally have an idea about, and that he kind of saw that, okay, this guy has some potential to help us. And it's also like when you're in that position, you know what is needed, what is really required to be successful here. And sometimes it's like, yeah, if you cannot work during the night, because Steve Jobs, he sometimes asks people, okay, can you stay here overnight for the next 3 days, because we have a lot of things to do. And people who said, no, I have no chance to do that, okay, for him it was like, oh, you know. And it doesn't mean that those people were bad, it was just that for his team it was not ideal. Mm-hmm. So that's why I think it's so important that even as a senior manager, you should have a very good idea of who you are hiring, mm-hmm. and why, and how do we select people, and again, why do we do that, you know. And the more you know the answers to those questions, the more chance you have to actually form a very smooth and coordinated team. Mm-hmm. And also, if you have been there taking those decisions, it a little bit automatically increases your responsibility. You know, you are more responsible now because I was the guy who approved this person to come in. And this is, by the way, something I recommend anyone who deals with hiring, that, you know, if you have somebody from another department who just gives me a person, and I had no say, I could not approve or disapprove, I could not say anything, I'm now just supposed to work with this guy, we should not be so surprised that the willingness to take responsibility if something is not working perfectly might not be so high. Because they gave me this guy and he's not working, and like, hey, can you come and fix it? Or but if it was me who was involved in that decision, I will work harder to make sure that we get this person up and running, which, by the way, is another big part of productivity management. And that is, how do we get people to improve their productivity? We know that changing personality and changing, you know, that is very, very, very difficult. And I wouldn't even recommend that you go there. But whoever you have there, and the best teams I have ever seen, they consist of very different personalities. You know, it doesn't matter if you look into sports, you look into great companies, you know, the guys who run it, and when they are really successful, they are like sometimes unbelievably different personality-wise. However, they can all get something done, and they love getting things done. And that is an aspect that you can actually work with. You can actually take a person who is willing to become better and help train this guy, drill him until he now can deliver on a higher level. This, again, compared to sports, this is why we do practice every day. Yeah, because we want to get better, and this we can do. This is not impossible. Mm-hmm. But to change this person's level of aggression or level of, intelligence is not easy. Mm-hmm. But again, you are clear about what we want, and you let people take responsibility also for their jobs. Then you get, in total, more responsibility taken, and you get more results. And this is what you can do in any group if you are good.
Yeah. What do you observe in like very successful companies? How important are people and their development and managing them right? For the management, for the CEOs, for the general management or managers, how intensively engaged are they in working with people and hiring?
I think generally, to be successful with business, you need to know something about people. You need actually, ideally, like people to some degree. Because if you like people, it's much easier to deal with them. And the same way, if I like dogs, it's easier for me to play with dogs. If I don't like dogs, dogs will not like me either. So it's not that different when we talk about people. You know, you don't like people, you might find quite some problems with people. And then how important it is, it can be different from company to company. Some companies are extremely automated, you know, and where we used to have 100 people in the past, we might do the same work now with 5 people or 10 people. And but still, those 10 people you need to manage well. And I would say that this is an area that you should never underestimate the importance of. And you also have clients, you have suppliers, you have partners. I mean, all of them needs to be taken well care of. And again, when you do those activities based on let's figure out how we can produce more, how we can be more effective, that's when things go better. That's when people get more happy, more satisfied, especially if you know what you're doing when you're doing that.
Yeah. What's the biggest problem, or let me call it barrier, is in handling or managing people?
I mean, I think you need to recognize in people that there is always something within a person that is very right. Even if this person do a lot of bad things, but there is still something very right about that person. If you can locate the rightness, that's where you start the improvement. That's from that rightness you can build and make that person stronger and more productive. If you focus only on the weaknesses, yeah, we can talk about that a lot, but it might not change a lot, you know. That's like when a person says, oh, I told you 20 times that you should not, blah, 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 you know. Okay, 20 times you have failed. Maybe you should look at the other end instead. What is this guy doing well? Let's talk about that. And maybe now he really changed. And now he's even stopped doing some of these bad things. So it's like, that's a strategy or a tactic that I find works much better. So a little bit like when you deal with people, you need to locate the rightness in those people. And this is what I see most good leaders, if you look at it. They admire their people, they find what they are good at, and they make that important. And what they are not so good at, they don't put a lot of focus on that. Maybe we do some things, but we don't try to focus on that area all the time.
Maybe they change also the role or the things they are doing according to what I see they are good at.
Oh yeah, and this is another thing. It's like, and I think this was again something that, you know, Mr. Jobs was very good at. He could see that, okay, wow, you have an ability here, very needed ability. I don't care about the rest, but you have this, and we need that, and please do that. And he could make people go, okay, and they grow. And after that, the disabilities, you could say, became less obvious, and sometimes they even dropped off. Again, I'm not saying that Mr. Jobs was a perfect people manager, but nevertheless, he got the results. He created from pretty much an almost bankrupt company the most the world's most profitable company in less than 15 years. So he demonstrated that it can be done.
What is the one main thing when we are speaking about this topic, about like new concept or a concept of productivity and managing people? What is the thing you would recommend to our listeners who are HR managers, maybe like people who are like working for companies?
You know, what I personally would do if I had a new group in front of me, I would first of all try to make, first for myself, understand what are we trying as a group to achieve, and are we achieving that? And if we are not achieving that, then I would start to look at, you know, why? Where are we missing out? And where are we doing well? And then I would work with the group on these points. You know, this we are doing well. How can we do it even better? And then I would look individually at each person. What can you do to contribute to that? And then depending on your role in the company, you know, if you're a financial person who do the accounting, I would make you understand how you, by doing the accounting perfect, how you can actually help this thing to happen. Or if you are, you know, a worker in the storage, okay, I would make that person understand how you, by doing this job in the storage perfectly, how that actually contributes to our overall purpose and product. So that everyone in the operation understands that what I do has some connection to where we are going and how fast we get there.
That's great. Thank you. Okay, and at the end, I have two sentences or two beginnings of sentences, and I would like you to finish it. And the first sentence is, a really good CEO wants.
Can you take that again?
And you are going to say the end of the sentence.
Yeah. I just didn't get the first part of it.
A really good CEO wants.
Yeah, wants our results to improve at all times.
Great. Okay, thank you. And the other one is, employees are happy at work when?
When they have a chance to really contribute and become an important part of the whole.
Wow, great. Okay, thank you for coming, Mårten. I think it was very inspirative for everyone who is listening.
Okay.
And I'm looking forward to another episode, probably.
You're so welcome. Thank you very much.